I'm all about the 4 putting elements, and number 1 is always setup, the things I do before I ever make a stroke. And I want to draw your attention today to shaft lean, which is something that the tour is fanatical about, and here is why. My putter has some amount of loft on it, usually 2, 3, 4 degrees. And theoretically, if the shaft were perfectly vertical and the putter came in with that amount of loft, I would hit the ball with 2, 3, or 4 degrees of loft. What happens, however, if the shaft is leaned forward a little bit? What happens to the effective loft of the putter? It's diminished by that. So let's say I had 4 degrees of loft on my putter and I had 4 degrees of forward shaft lean. I come into the ball with the face completely vertical. Now that may be fine, but I need to know that because that's what shapes my stroke. Do I come into the stroke where the putter is going level to the ground? Do I come into the ball where that putter is actually coming up? They call that rise angle. Well, it's all determined by loft and shaft lean. So let's take a look at how we measure it and how we can modify it to get it where we want it to be. So let's take a look. I've always wanted to be able to measure shaft lean and loft quantifiably. And today I'm going to be showing you how we're going to do that. The clip that you see here on the shaft is called a Sky Pro. It's a sensor, it's fantastic. And it communicates Bluetooth to my iPad. And what it allows me to do then is to make strokes and get instant feedback on exactly what I'm looking at. It's hard to know this by yourself. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make some strokes, measure them. I want to introduce the pendulum rod to help us get the shaft lean where we want it to be, make enough practice strokes. Then we're going to come back after we've used the pendulum rod and see if we've made some practice. So let me kind of hit a stroke or two. I want you to see how this kind of looks at it. So you've seen my stroke before. It's a great stroke, don't you think? But anyway, the putter has 2 degrees of loft, not very much loft. I tend to get my hands a little bit forward to the dress anyway, but I have this habit of wanting to kind of forward press it a little. And when I do that, you're going to see that the shaft lean at address comes in 3 degrees forward. That's a lot. Considering the putter only has 2, I now have a downward lean of a full degree. The putter is coming into the ball facing down. The only way I can help that is I'm going to have to really come up on it. So I want to give you a different look that we're going to look at here. They call this focus. So each time I make a stroke, it's only going to give me information about the shaft lean and the loft at address. Okay? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to use the switchblade, which is a new product. It's fantastic. It makes sure that the face of the putter is absolutely aimed at my target. It's got to be square to give all the readings that we want from the Sky Pro. So we're going to set up to that. And then what I want to do is I want to put the pendulum rod in here. You've probably seen the pendulum rod. And this is one of the reasons why the tour is so crazy about the pendulum rod, is that it really gives me assurance that my shaft lean corresponding to my loft is consistent all the time. If it is, I can count that the roll of the ball is going to be consistent. So we put the putting rod into play here. Sets the shaft, and as you look at that shaft and the pendulum rod are just about parallel. Theoretically, that ought to be just about 0. Let's make a stroke and just see where it is. That feels better already. The shaft lean is 0, which is exactly where I'd like to have it. Now here's the deal. Get the pendulum rod, put it in play, make 50 strokes or 100 strokes. Get the feedback that you want, right? And then go back to life without the pendulum rod, if you will. I still use a switchblade, of course. But then now I sort of have a feel for that. I've made enough strokes of it, and I sort of have that in my memory bank, into my muscle memory. And now, honestly, when I look down at it, it looks about normal that the shaft lean is not going way forward, and the Sky Pro says I actually have it 1 degree backward. Well, I have made the correction. I've got a little bit of added loft, and it's 0. It's going to be a great stroke. The ball's going to come off rolling. Shaft lean and loft dictate how I come into impact. Use the Sky Pro to give you quantifiable data on what's my shaft lean and therefore what's my effective loft of the putter. When I get that right, I'm going to roll it. It's a part of setup, which is a part of the 4 elements. We can do this. We can really improve our stroke and our distance control before we ever pull the trigger.